Hi guys, welcome back to the Tech Chat, where today we're unboxing and having a quick look at the brand new iPad Pro 9.7. So instead of an Air 3, we're getting a rebranded iPad Pro. This is the smaller brother to the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which came out late last year. But for all intents and purposes, this is the sequel to the Air 2. But before we take a look at the iPad, let's see what we get in the box. First of all, as you can see, there's an instruction manual with a few little notes on what the new features are of the new iPad. We've also got the lightning cable and, of course, the wall plug for charging the iPad. So if you've ever used an iPad before, you'll be pretty familiar with the setup process. It's all fairly straightforward, but there is one new feature that you'll see as you set it up, and that's the True Tone display. As you can see, the difference between me pressing the C without True Tone display option, it changes the color a bit because the new Pro 9.7, it's an exclusive feature to this model, has ambient light sensors built in, which sort of analyzes the ambient light, the brightness, the color temperature in the room around you, and changes the display lighting to make it more consistent in different environments. So you can either choose to have it on or off, but it is an exclusive feature to the new 9.7 Pro, so for now I will be leaving it on. But once the setup is complete, we're back on the home screen, and this will be familiar to anyone who's used an iPad recently. This is running the latest iOS 9.3, and as you can see, there's really nothing different here with the Pro 9.7. It's got the swipe up and the swipe down notification panels. Swiping between the home screens feels fast and responsive. There's not really anything new at this point. Now, in terms of storage, this is the base 32GB Wi-Fi model. You can also get it in 128 and 256GB capacity options. Now, as you can see, even though it's 32GB, I only have about 22 to actually play with and put apps on. This is following a fresh install. There's nothing actually installed yet. So let's take a look around the new Pro 9.7. Of course, we've got Touch ID built into the home button. We've got 4 speakers, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, the new quad speaker setup. We've also got the new smart connector, which docks with the new smart keyboard you can buy as an accessory. And of course, there's traditional lightning cable, as well as a 3.5mm jack on the top. We've also got the power and volume buttons on the top right of the iPad. Now, one of the biggest improvements of the new Pro 9.7 is its 12-megapixel camera. It's basically the same as the one in the iPhone 6s. It can record 4K at 30 FPS. It's much, much better than the old iPad. But as you can see, it does protrude a bit from the back of the device, like the iPhone 6s. But as you can see, fortunately, it doesn't make the iPad rock at all or move at all when it's flat on a desk. Now, since it seems Apple have rebranded the Air 3 as the Pro 9.7, they are definitely pushing it being a professional device for productivity, for multitasking, and of course it still has that split screen multitasking feature, so you can swipe in from the right hand side and then have 2 apps open side by side. Now, whether you think an iPad can replace a laptop, I think that's going to be up to you. It's a very subjective opinion. Personally, I don't think it can. iPads are still very much a content consumption device in my opinion, but it's still great to have the split screen multitasking. It does make it much more functional. You can be a lot more productive with it, perhaps having a Chrome browser to one side or Safari and then Maps or maybe your notes. But while it may not be new, it does still feel really fast and responsive to use. Now, of course, in the full review, I'll go into much more detail about the Pro 9.7, but I do want to just very quickly show you the differences between the original Air, which I've got here on the right, and the new Pro 9.7 on the left. A lot of people think it's not worth upgrading from the Air 2 to the new Pro 9.7, but if you own the original Air like I do, I think it actually may be worth upgrading to the new Pro 9.7. As you can see, it's a lot thinner, it's a lot lighter, it's just 437 grams heavy, and it's 6.1 millimeters thick, the new Pro 9.7. But of course, that is the exact same specs in terms of size as the Air 2. It's not any thicker, it's not any lighter or any different at all to the Air 2. So aside from the internal hardware improvements and the new camera, the biggest difference to the new Pro 9.7 is the display. It's got a wider color gamut, it's brighter, and most of all, it's much less reflective. You can see here my softbox lighting, which I'm using to film this video, is very reflective on the Air 1, which you can see here on the right hand side. But if I bring the Pro back over, it's much, much less significant. The reflections are far reduced compared to the original Air. Now, as part of my full upcoming review, I will be looking at the new hardware and the speed and performance of the new Pro 9.7 with its 2GB of RAM and A9X chip. But to just quickly demonstrate the differences in speed between the original Air on the right and the new Pro 9.7 on the left, I just thought I'd do a quick boot test. So as you can see, the Pro 9.7 launches significantly faster than the Air. It really does feel like a night and day difference in terms of boot speed performance. Now finally, it's worth mentioning if you own a smart cover for the Air or the Air 2, it won't actually work with the new Pro 9.7. You need to buy a dedicated Pro 9.7 smart cover, because although it does kind of fit, the magnets are slightly different, the placements of the magnets are a bit different. It's kind of weird, but the cover's edge seems to pop up at the end. I think the magnets are just basically in a different place. So you do need to invest in a new iPad Pro smart cover, unfortunately, which will obviously increase the cost of any upgrade to the new iPad. So I hope you've enjoyed my little quick look and unboxing of the new iPad Pro 9.7. Do subscribe to the Tech Chat for a full upcoming review, as well as speed tests and camera comparisons between the Pro 12.9 as well as the Air and the Air 2 versus the new Pro 9.7. So please do share, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again right here on the Tech Chat.